Hello everybody who may or may not be here or may not be seeing this sometime later. It is like 1 a.m. Boxing Day, so tomorrow's Sunday. And hi, Copper Calf! I actually was quite enjoying the storyline of Tremere Boy. A lot more than I was enjoying the main storyline, really. Kinda feeling this for this poor autistic man with a grandma. I am not too sure if this is the last quest to do with him, but I'm gonna probably be reading all of it because I kinda like his thing. You're in your haven when someone knocks on your front door. Puzzled, you open it. Agathon stands in the hallway expectantly, as if 10 seconds it took for you to come to the door wasn't an impossible imposition. Yes, it's more middle of the night reading time, Jade. My husband's asleep. I'm not drunk today. I mean, I still have my bottle of Bailey's, so I'm slightly tipsy. But I'm actually enjoying the bloody Tremere storyline. You need my help? Let me guess, you're going out to hunt for the research notes. You need my help. Yes, exactly. Let's go. You follow Agathon down to the street, wondering what kind of revelations tonight will hold. Oh, you mean the Malkavian one is not that good? Oh, yep, okay. I'll keep that in mind. But yeah, I'm enjoying this Tremere boy. I think he's kind of sweet. In this man's an autist and has cute grandma sort of way. Thank you for the cheer, Menund. So far, Agathon's rituals haven't been successful at locating the research notes, but you learned a lot about the Tremere and Agathon himself. This time I got it! The problem is when an old vampire disappears even from our clan, we're so secretive that it's hard for us to find what they were up to. Well, it is Malkavians. Agathon's car is parked at the curb. You get in and he starts to drive. You may have guessed that the notes we're looking for belong to an old member of our house. The problem is that we need them to continue her research. Is this to do with Juno in any way? I mean, if they went missing, wouldn't they have gone missing with their whole notes? I mean, if I disappeared, I would have totally taken my notes with it. First in my class here at MIT, got skills, I'm a champion at DNC, MC Escher, that's my favorite MC. Keep your 40, I'll just have an Earl Grey tea. My rims never spin, to the contrary. You find that they're quite stationary. All of my action figures are cherry. Stephen Hawking's in my library. My MySpace page is all totally pimped out. I got people begging for my 8 spaces, yo. I know pie. Out of to 1,000 places. Ain't got no grills, but I still wear braces. I order all my sandwiches with mayonnaise. Woo! That's a funny thing. I was reading numerology today. So my birth date is completely drunk. But my greater number is kinda correct, so it's a mixed bag so far. But I'm declaring my birthday drunk. Why does Juno need the notes? Yep, that's the question I'm gonna go with. Is she going into research? Agathon looks at you uncertainly before returning his eyes to the road ahead. I don't know, but I can guess. You wait for him to continue, but he doesn't seem inclined to do so. You're getting used to sitting in Agathon's car in silence. He drives, you look out the window, back to Queens. Yes! The magical car mirrors, yo. He never... I met these kind of people in real life as well, and from what I've been told, it's because they need to focus on driving, but He has a car radio. He could turn it on for the noise. That's what most people do. I mean, you can also have, like, actual CDs that you enjoy, but driving in silence with somebody is awkward. I never met, like, a taxi driver that drove in, like, complete silence. Eventually you roll up to an industrial area called Willets Point. It doesn't really look like a place where a blood sorcerer would hang out. Now that's overly judgy of us. Blood sorcerers can hang out wherever the hell they please. Agathan parks in front of a car repair shop that looks like it has seen better days. There are huge puddles of water on the road and car wrecks stone about. You know what? If I was a blood sorcerer and, like, I had to run a chantry, I wouldn't be doing what these fucks are doing, which is either have, like, a mysterious building or run under a bookshop or, like, a new age shop and everything. Those places are really hard to find to begin with. Run it where, like, nobody would ever expect. Like, by the way, if you come over to this prominent city chantry, it's just outside the city inside that cave over there. It's in the hairdresser's salon. It's in the candy store. Oh, at least that would be such a pleasing front. Pie shop. Would cover all the smells as well. Just pie shop. Better be quick. If I can find this place, so can Juno. Yeah, I know, right? Especially if you have to call people in to bake in the middle of the night, you can then, like, taste the bakers as well. Kind of like, you know, get hungry, you nip out for a snack, just, like, taste the baker, go back in. I wonder if bakers taste like apple pies do. Like, select especially, like, sweet people to be your bakers. You look around to see if someone is observing you, but there doesn't seem to be any people about. And why would there be? Who would hang out around a place like this at night? Yep. I know. My husband worked at a bakery once for a short period of time. But yes, baking starts, like, well into the night hours. Because it has to open in the morning, and it has to be stocked. Agathan tries the front door of the repair shop, circles around the back. You follow him. There's a broken window in the back, protected by iron bars. Agathan grips them and gives them a quick shake. The entire iron grill comes up. Startled, Agathan lowers it to the ground. I mean, you can say that somebody has broken in, either that or you're just really strong and never realized that. I suppose someone else has already broken in and didn't want to leave an obvious point of entry. It actually reminds me of a guy on YouTube that walked in a straight line through Wales twice and failed. Once he failed, like, midway because he miscalculated the mountains a bit. And another time he failed quite early out of the box because his friend had a medical emergency. But he would try and climb over people's fences to sneak through their farm fields without being seen because he's literally been traveling in a straight line through Wales. And he kept on, like, breaking off fences accidentally, and then he would clumsily put it back into place and go, good as new. Maybe that's what happened in here as well. Like, somebody was like, just like, oopsie daisy. God as new. You and Agathan climb inside through the window. It's awkward but not difficult. Looking around, you realize that the repair shop has been abandoned for some time. It looks like homeless people have stayed here in the past, but nobody's currently squatting at the premises. Yeah, it's fine. Fine. Nobody was here. Don't question it. Just don't look at it, please. You try a light switch, but nothing happens. You know the drill. I'll do the ritual in the office. Make sure there are no interruptions. He goes to the repair shop office. I'll guard patiently. I don't really need to go through the papers in here, nor do I need to explore anything in the abandoned and... Well, it's not really abandoned, but it's empty right now, repair shop. So I'm gonna be a good girl. I lean against the wall. Agathon murmurs the strange words required by his blood magic and takes carefully measured steps across the filthy floor. I'm surprised that their ritual actually involves physical moving. Because imagine if you actually miscalculate that. It goes, take 10 steps to the west. And then you're like, okay, I'm gonna smack myself straight bang into a wall. You wait patiently as he performs the ritual. It feels like taking longer than usual, leaving you time to scan the room. In comparison, in almost all real-world instances of rituals of any sort that people currently are using in the occult, movement is practically not involved, probably for good reasons. Sometimes very hard to find materials will be involved, it's just people that are doing actual pagan god worships will light an actual Yule log on fire. People doing alchemy will be distilling actual materials for hours on end on an actual set of iron pots that they found or bought off eBay. There was one guy that got really happy about finding bronze tools for an alchemy set that would normally cost about 2,000 eBay dollars because they're hard to find, but he found them used for like 200. But yeah. It can involve a lot of really hard to find shit, like where am I supposed to locate lemon balm in the middle of England? But it's never involving movement all that much, probably because people don't want to be smacking into walls. I've been browsing, inspecting X-Men comics, you know I collect them. The pens in my pocket, I must protect them. My ergonomic keyboard never leaves me bored. Shopping online for deals on some writable media, I edit Wikipedia. I memorized the Holy Grail really well, I can recite it right now. Have you, Rotflol? I got a business doing websites when my friends need some code. Who do they call? I do HTML, do for them all. Even make a homepage for my dog. Yo, I got myself a fanny pack. They were having a sale down. This song sounds really weird because it's like somebody put down personality of a programmer nerd. Now, memorizing Holy Grail is like a religious thing. So that's interesting. So it's a nerd that's religious, but he's also into like comic books culture and everything. So he's a very well-rounded person, you know? Streetlights filter in from outside, but it's still pretty dark. A ratty sleeping bag lies on the floor. Wonder what a warlock might have wanted in a place like this. Probably a good hideout spot. There's a small TV on the desk, probably from the 90s. Looking closer, you realize there's a post-it note in the middle of the TV screen. You take it. It reads, loser, you know. Agathon stops gesturing. They're not here, how is this possible? You show him the post-it note, he takes it and looks it over as if suspecting it might be a devious trick. Fuck, she has the notes, and she had to gloat. We have to go. It feels like you spent a lot of time recently hurrying after Agathon as he walks briskly in and out of buildings into his car. He starts the car as you close the door. We have to go to her haven and get the notes. There's no time to waste, says the man in the magical mirror with a very intense stare. Despite the urgency of his words, Agathon drives as carefully as ever. It seems that only a threat to his grandmother's enough to make him drive recklessly. He can't be dead for that long, or he had to die very early in life. Because fuck me, man, having a grandmother that's alive and well. Mine's turning, like... I suppose mine didn't, like, have children that early, but she had them in, like, mid-20s, and my mother had me in about mid-20s. So I was born when my grandmother turned 50. She's now 76-ish. People can croak from old age anywhere from 60 to, like, 100, so... I would have expected his grandmother to be even older than mine, and... my great-grandparents, they started to lose coherency entirely in their 90s, so, yeah, she doesn't have that much time left to begin with. Poor dude must either have died really young, or hasn't been a vampire for all that long. What do we do with her? Is she an enemy? Let's not be hasty. I'm sure we can talk this through. Agathon doesn't sound too convinced. Juno's Haven is in Brooklyn, in the waterfront warehouse. See? She has a better hiding out spot. Traffic is much lighter than if you wanted to zoom around the 5 boroughs during rush hour. I mean... She seemed pretty human, and yep, he's keeping her human, I'm pretty sure. That's her, let's go in, pointing at a light. Let's go around the warehouse. Preferring to keep a low profile for now, you circle around the building and look for an alternative entry point. You find a rusty metal door with no window in it at the very end of the building. Some kind of emergency exit? You get open with little difficulty entering the building with Agathon. You emerge into a light-proof room, sectioned off on one side by a cheap plywood wall. There's a flimsy-looking door that probably leads to the main warehouse area. You stop to listen. You hear 2 voices, but they are hard to make out. One is Juno and the other sounds like it comes from underwater, which is a strange resonance. You do your best to make out what they're saying, but you understand only bits and pieces. Is it possible for me to bring another? Yes! We are too powerful. Enough waiting, Agathon says! Agathon tries to break down the door by ramming into it with his shoulder. It's flimsy and breaks with surprisingly little effort. I am so happy for him, because I fully expected him to bounce off the door like the doofus that he is, because Tremere are not the strongy guys. Ventru are not the strongy guys either. We need here somebody with pure power like Gangrel or Bruja. You and Agathon barge into the space and find yourselves at the periphery of a candle-lit ritual circle. Your eyes are drawn to the wash basin at Juno's feet. Filled with blood! Maybe it's your imagination, but it almost feels like water inside is emitting a fan? Worm? Fan? W-A-N, that's... Is that a word? I never heard this word. Red light of its own. Juno, you have to stop. Hand me the notes. Oh, Agathon, you're such an idiot. This is so beyond you right now. I'll give you one last chance. Come with me. Forget Eiling and her power games. Join me and you can become your own man. What? Who's your contact, Juno? Who were you talking to? That's a good question. I guess Eiling Sternbridge doesn't go around trumpeting the fact that the old hierarchy doesn't hold a monopoly on Tremere power anymore. There are other forces out there, and I'll join them. There's that one chantry that's like... half, not one chantry, but like one group that's like still half loyal to the Camarilla. They don't advertise the fact that they managed to break all the blood bonds too much. Then there's one that's Anarch. And apparently they're really bad at magic to begin with. And they're led by like a 10th generation person. So they're pretty low down the eating food chain. And they do have technomancy though. But the technomancy department is ran practically the same as all the Camarilla departments, with very much a lot of secrets and a very strict structure. So the one place in Anarch movement of the Tremere where they're actually accomplishing shit is the place with very rigid structure that's very reminiscent of the rest of the Tremere structures. So yeah. And then Sabbat Tremere have been annihilated in quotation marks because question if all of them just died or not. Apparently there was a ritual to kill all of them, but some of them might have been pretending to sort of be leaning towards the Sabbat. Well, not entirely, so they might still be around. Your options of joining other people are not that great as a Tremere, and you can do Anarchy, but as I remember, Anarchy just doesn't have a lot of hold. You can do that whole nomad thing, where you're just wandering around as a lone person, which is honestly one of the best things that you can do in this world. Because this world is bloody sad. Yeah, actually, that sums it up pretty well. They all have to be such dicks as well. Like, they normally can't even locate one person that's just, like, trustworthy enough to just keep with them for forever. They can't have, like, tight-knit groups that care about each other. They have to be dicks. At some point, they have to be dicks. And I can't imagine existence where you have to be that paranoid of other people. That sounds really sad. If this dumbass has any brains, he'll join me. No, and not for the clan, but for my family. My real family. Oof. Oof! Oof! It's like, you, my girlfriend, never considered you a family. I would have felt badly if I hadn't offered you the chance. Come back to the chantry with me, Juno. Talk to Eiling. You'll see that this is not a good idea. You're no sorcerer, but fighting Juno in the middle of her ritual circle doesn't seem like a good idea. There's two of you? 2 words. Fuck you. Please, just give us the notes. We won't stop you from leaving. I'm tired of the fight. I'm tired of having to bust my ass for some asshole like Eiling. Fuck off! Fuck off. Whoever you're contacting right now is also an asshole like Eiling. Just be a nomad. It's actually not that bad. And as far as I know, nobody for some reason capitalizes on tiny little towns somewhere. So there's always power vacuums in places that people definitely do not want to attend. Like I said, just go like in the middle of fucking Siberia, where people density is like 0.3 per kilometer, and you're probably gonna find the power vacuum there, and then you can do whatever the bloody kind of research that you want to do. I want a new life away from all of this crap. Then just go. Just go. Just go. Maybe I should just give this to you. Yes, you should. You fucker! You're manipulating me! You venture. She slaps your face and you feel as if your insides have suddenly caught fire. You open your mouth but no sound comes out. Finally, you focus on the feeling of Agathon's hand on your shoulder and you realize you lie sprawled on the floor. Are you right? Can you speak? The pain is receding, but you feel like shit, hurting all over and barely able to walk. It'll take a lot of blood to mend from this state. Agatha supports you as you walk back. He's smiling. You notice the folder under his arm. You got away, but I have the notes. I'm sorry you got hurt, but it was worth it. Says the guy that didn't got hurt. Worth it. You would tell him a thing or two about your view of the situation, but your tongue is momentarily a lump of charcoal in your mouth. You could, at the very least... Dude, you have your research notes now. At the very least, what you could do is take me out feeding. Literally, not a single one of these sentences is something that I want to say. If it was me, I would be like, can you take me out feeding? I feel like you owe me a dinner right now. What will happen to her? Is your clan really gonna let her go? Maybe, I don't really know. We have the notes and that's what counts. He wanted her to escape. I don't entirely blame him. I mean, she seems like a lot of trouble. Oh! I have decided to climb down into the Tremere Chantry again, which I don't actually know why we would do such a thing. I'm fairly confident that I should just let them have their privacy. You have good news, I hope? You know, one thing that I'm gonna add to visual novels, or people playing campaigns in general, of tabletop? Do multiple draws of, like, the same person, and change some of their appearance at least occasionally. Like, you don't tend to wash coats that often. Don't tend to wear coats indoors that often, but I suppose it's just the Tremere region thing to wear a giant-ass coat. But you should change your clothes. I'm gonna assume that they don't all just have, like, one shirt, right? They have a select... You all can't just look identical. Yep, we have the notes. For that reason as well, he's always wearing the exact same outfit as well. I mean, come on, you must have a closet, but at least some. You must have to wear something else when you're washing your clothes. They don't dry that fast. Wonderful, you did not disappoint. What of Juno? We were not able to stop her. She escaped. Well, no matter, Agathon, you've proven yourself yet again, and Corp looks like the pyramid has a good friend in you. I'll accept the compliment in silence. You leave the bookstore with praise ringing in your ears. Even the taciturn Agathon manages to smile. You have no idea what will happen with the nuts, but you feel that you have reached an understanding with Agathon. Perhaps that's enough in this world of backstabbing and betrayal that you now inhibit. Yep, the hunger is definitely calling to us. That's probably... Probably because we got completely seared and we're never in control of our hunger all that much anyway, but... Apparently we're only ever out to feed when we're doing something. We don't just have like a button that says spend half of your freaking night feeding, god damn it. What's wrong with you? You do have the time. Like, see, we only have a button to rest. There's no like just quickly nap in and bite a random neck. What? What? Who's Sophie? Oh! Oh! I'm sorry. That's the one that adopted us. I forgot. I legitimately forgot. It's like I got invested in my Tremere boy ass, and I completely forgot that the main story's still happening. I do want to do at least some of these random things, but I don't really want to touch the faith guy. I found him pretty Benoit. It's Benoit. Jesus Christ, French people, what's wrong with you? Pronounce syllables the way that they're written. Oh, time to confirm if somebody's following me and then go after the Malkavian person. Someone is following you around. Has been for a few nights, maybe longer. That can't be a good thing. The only question is what to do about it. Ah, gonna provoke my stalker. You venture out to the street with the goal of letting your stalker know you're aware of being followed. It's time to stop this ridiculous charade. It's raining outside, and as you step onto the street in front of your haven, you wonder whether that will help you. Will you be able to see the footprints of your stalker in the puddles on the ground? That's asking for quite a lot. Not sure where to start, you slip a few bills to a homeless man and chat up the guy who runs the local bodega. Yeah, does it smell in 4K? Both of them talk your ear off about strange characters hanging around, but none of the stories seem right to you. Walking the streets, you're convinced by the turns that everyone you see is an enemy agent out to get you, and that the stalker has decided to take the night off. Frustrated after a couple of hours of useless searching, you cross the road without looking where you're going. A carrier on a motorbike zooms towards you and has no time to brake or swerve as you suddenly step in front of him. For a split second, your eyes meet those of a man on the bike and you both know you'll collide. You'll get hurt. Something hits you, pushing you forward. You tumble flying to the sidewalk as the courier zooms past. You feel a weight on your back, catching a glimpse of something. A person, female, you think, and then she disappears. You'd spend a couple more hours trying to find the woman who's been stalking you, but in your shriveled undead heart, you know it to be futile. She is gone. And we're still starving. I mean, come on, the lady were really bloody bad at not... There should literally be a button here that says, fuck all the people. Find somebody to feed on. Because I would. I would. No, there's like possible rest button when it's rest time and nothing else. Hello, Malkavian lady. It's a quiet, moody internet cafe. Half of its space serves as a comfy cafe bar these days. But behind the glass wall, it's still a space dedicated to rows of PCs. Yep, that definitely sounds like an internet cafe. I mean, if there weren't any PCs, I would be... Yep, would be very surprised. There's people inside, because of course... Hope must be inside this building, because Sophie says so. One of the waiters are just standing absent-mindedly outside in the street, and we're not gonna bite them. I'm looking for Hope. Yeah, you and me both. Right this way. Guy? Me? That was a perfect opportunity to bite. With teeth. Your intestines got burned yesterday. Maybe eat. When you make your way through the space with computers, no one averts their gaze from the spreadsheets, emails, Facebook profiles, or games of Fortnite. Who would be going through official spreadsheets on public computers in an internet cafe? If you need to do anything for work and you're gonna use public network, at the very least use your own device. Phone will suffice. Laptop is what most people have. Fucking hell, who would be reading spreadsheets on a public computer? Would they still be spending their time like this if they were immortal? Depends how much shit does the immortal society give about them. Honestly. Because, you see, the issue is that the society kind of tells you to do shit. Whenever it's not telling you to do shit, or if you're ignored, then yes, you can be spending time like this. There were speculations that in Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, Deb was a Toreador. You know, the radio girl. You could definitely hold a night job. Yeah, you can find a nice quaint town and yeah, you would be spending your time just like this. Don't get caught up in the middle of Camarilla business. Or the pyramid. Bloodlines, radio girl. People are guessing. Because when Andre was speaking about things, she reacted almost like she knew a lot of this shit. And also because she became very temperamental about the would-be writer on her show. And it is a night job. People are like, she's acting like she knows of that world. And she also kinda acts like a Toreador that would be taking great offense to people not doing work properly. Yeah, it's a crazy fan theory. I mean, she wouldn't be breaking the masquerade. And it's only her voice. The waiter unlocks an unassuming door at the end of the room and lets you inside. I have actually questions as to how you get your havens. Do undead just like wander into random places? Meet with people, ghoul them, and go, I live here now? I mean, she definitely didn't build this, hopefully. Because if she did, that's pretty weird. Instead of going, can I live here now? You would be like, can I tunnel through your internet cafe? Eventually, you reach your destination. Your guide motions you to enter a dark room with a lone source of pale light, a computer screen in the distance beckoning you to come closer. Do you have any blood by any chance? Because I am starving. As you do, you hear the doors shutting behind your back and a soft chuckle echoing behind it. Is this the place? Nothing else to do but to sit on a chair in front of the computer. Then a monitor displays a modern chat application. Huh. We have been dead for 7 days, but the chat is described as a modern chat application. Come on! Discord? Internet chat room, Skype, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram messaging. You mentioned Fortnite before, so it's not. It's not like you can't mention these things apparently. Cursor is blinking in the user nickname entry field in the middle of the screen, obviously expecting you to input your handle. After a brief consideration, you type in... There's a user nickname entry field. Okay, I'm definitely guessing some sort of browser-based chat. Something goofy. Maybe it's your newfound sensibilities going haywire, but this place has a barely noticeable sleazy aura. Might as well go along with it. Pornos collector! Oh, that's not goofy, that's lame, bro. Like, there's a guy that's actually quite wise on a cold Discord. He seems personality-wise, he seems quite laid back and quite normal. But he does have quite a lot of knowledge. But his username is literally Satan, which is about as edgy as you can get. Ah, messages are appearing. What? Jesus. Ah. Just to be clear, I don't have a wank rag. Oh, for sure. LMLO, it was meant for Jerry, of course. Yeah, Jerry is in the chat. I mean, I've admitted to far worse things on here. God, I'm so horny. Not sure why I would have a need to lie about this one. Oh my god, literally, who cares? You and me both. Wait, who's Porno Collector? No idea. A new user wasn't here a second before. What the hell? Was anyone informed? No announcement. I know I wasn't. Identify yourself within 2 minutes or get banned. Oof, that's... What? Who are you chatting with and why? I've seen people have discussions about their sex dungeons. In occult servers. Never seen anyone being prudish about a wank rag. But at the same time, said servers would not be like, oh my god, a new user, who this? Better say something. I'm looking for Hope. Is she here? Who the fuck are you? This was meant to be a safe channel, investigating what went wrong. How did you even get here? Jesus, messages, please! We have a next button for a reason. Can you get their location? Yeah, sure, that's our Jerry. Gotta DM it to anyone interested. Now you're in trouble. Yeah, you're gonna regret. Dumbass! The day you decided to spy on us. How am I gonna presence through chat? Okay, time to teach them some respect. Ancient power starts coursing through your veins, fingers tapping the keyboard button on their own. Okay, this one is unique. I'm actually... I wouldn't put it out of the realm of possibility. Because knowing reality, people goddamn hold seances through Discord calls. Your physical location doesn't mean all that much in supernatural crap, but... Ancient power starts coursing through your veins, fingers tapping the keyboard buttons on their own is quite the sentence. We're doing presents through the internet. You people better stay quiet if you know what's good for you. You have no idea who you're messing with. You will obey me. That's quite a lot of dominance, but normally to use any dominance you do need eye contact, so I wonder... How would this work? Because, okay, she increased her ability to make strong statements using presence through the internet, right? Right, which would be possible. You could make yourself a bit more charismatic and shit. You could. But now, we're trying to tell them to obey. If this sentence carried like no supernatural properties whatsoever, I wouldn't, nope, it wouldn't do. It wouldn't do anything to me. Chat explodes. Oh, what am I looking at here? Oh shit, watch out, he's started typing properly. I'm so glad I decided to log in earlier today. You have no idea who you're messing with. Would be so pissed if I missed this. You know, he means business. Yup, yeah, that reaction was like, on point. On point. I have seen people try to implant small self-replicating servitors inside of books. So it's not like you couldn't do anything supernatural with text, but it's pretty weird, bro. That sentence wouldn't do anything. Guess your powers don't work online. Go figure. Neoliberal, what? That's a username and a half. I mean, we're called Porno Collector. Yeah, like, we're on your way to kill you, and my response would literally be like, try it. I mean, we're literally undead. Why would this be scary? It would be like, okay, if you can get through that door into this room, please do. I am really hungry. You would be probably bringing your neck with you. Yeah, I know. Good, I was hungry anyway. You come to the wrong chat room, motherfucker. Okay. Your chat room sucks ass. Hey, that's just rude, but I still laughed. Don't struggle, I will break your windpipe or my phone, which would end even worse for you anyway. Oh god, stop, don't take selfies with me. Alright, that's enough fun. I'm letting you go so we can have a talk. Don't do anything stupid, Mrs. Intruder, pretty please. Let me just finish this. Okay, we're finding her dressed out to be outrageous. How did she sneak up on us, though? I am so ashamed of her lack of awareness, especially with, like, Beast at level 4 in here, pretty much. Considering that we're really, really hungry. Okay, she has tattoos. Oh yeah, now I can see, yep, her outfit does look like it was thrown together very haphazardly. The heck is that? Is that stays to a corset? Yep, how are we that not aware? That's pretty embarrassing, honestly. Sorry, that's what you get for entering a lady's haven without her permission. Calm yourself, girl. I won't pull anything like this anymore. It was just, feel stupid saying it out loud. A vibe check. Vibe check. Yeah, we're on the same. We're vibing, lady. We're vibing here. You know, when I when I say that I like the vibe in here. I tend to like in music, not like I'm gonna fucking strangle you if you say the wrong thing in my chat room, bro. Yeah, I got a glimpse of your vibe on the internet and in a dangerous situation. I've got to say, pretty good idea about who you really are. I'm Hope, by the way. If you're here, you've probably heard of me, so I went ahead and skipped the pleasantries, but come to think of it, I might have skipped too many of those. I still can't believe you got so mad online! You actually tried to use your powers on people talking trash about you from who knows where. Jesus! But you know, I kinda respect that dedication, it's amusing. Your chat room sucks ass was funny, so there's that. Unless you really meant it, in which case, hey, fuck you! Oh yeah, credit where it's due. You're probably not a boring person online going by your chosen handle. Believe it or not, among bloodsuckers, that's still rare as hell. Most of them are like clueless baby boomers when it comes to internet stuff. Anyway, don't worry about the chat. It was all game to us. No hard feelings, okay? I'll introduce you properly later. But look, if we're gonna talk to you, you should have something to say too. What are you doing here? Oh, whoa, we're being judgmental. Note to self, she really loves the sound of her own voice. She said like 4 sentences. You sure you haven't internalized the Tremere bit? Like, you just got used to Agatha being Miss Silent Agatha Christie there. Completely not saying anything for like full-on car rides. It were like, oh my god, this girl, she said 4 sentences? The audacity! I'm building a coterie. Coterie, been there, done that, not interested unless... Wait, shit. Are you the new Landley plaything? Of course you are. It was obvious the second Langley got her hands on a new servant, she started building a network. Your missions tell me that they could really come in handy when... But Langley, that's risky game. This kind of ambition attracts too much attention. Piss off. But then again, fucking Kara. Listen, I'm not saying I'm not interested in cooperation, but before I make a decision, I need to make sure you sort of understand me and I sort of understand you. And since I was planning to put on a show before you came here, I proposed a little game. Oh, okay. We got neon lighting that's specifically in red. That's ominous. The room is certainly unique. It looks like a butcher's room repurposed to a living space. The modern computer in front of you starkly contrasts the ominous industrial walls. I would say that it's the lighting doing the most of this. At the back there's an overthought bed covered in velvet with meat hooks hanging over it. What's up with people like having velvet fetish in these games? Like, I have cotton bed sheets. Where do you even get velvet? Top of the bed sheets, you notice what seem to be pieces of elaborate S&M equipment and a camera. Wait a minute. You want my help? Moderate my cam show. Cam show. Your eyes twitch involuntarily. This is definitely not the kind of request you're expected to hear tonight. She notices your confusion. Take it or leave it, buddy. You just became a kindred, but you wanna become a partner in crime? Show me that you can handle yourself while watching my back in my everyday environment. Show starts in 10 minutes. You think yourself better than this, better walk out the door right now. I won't hold a grudge. I got better things to do. 9 minutes. It's now or never. Show moderator. Risk of violating the Masquerade high. Content warnings? Oh yes. Do you take the job? Oh. Are we doing a vampire porn here? We're doing a vampire porn here. I'm going with this only because I know that it has no long-term consequences, because this game was not coded with a lot of endings. I find that if you're making a visual novel, right, put in a lot of endings. Put in a lot of surprise endings. There's one right over here. Maybe put an ability to revert to the previous save. A lot of visual novels do that. Vampire the Masquerade ones do not, for some bizarre reason. You want there to be risk factor and actual differences based on the choices that you make. That's the whole point. In making a visual novel, the whole point is that you can make half of the game in just writing and the other half in static backgrounds and static people. So you have a lot less production value, therefore you can achieve a lot more with the production. If you can only die twice, then this decision means absolutely nothing, therefore diminishing the value of a visual novel. On the upside, if this was a walking simulator, I wouldn't be expecting endings at all. It's just on rails walking. Why the hell not? Excellent! I promise you might find this interesting in more ways than one. Alright, give me a second. An explanation of moderator's functionalities is simple. It boils down to ignoring anyone who doesn't disrupt the chat, banning anyone who does, and kicking anyone who's causing minor trouble. 5 minutes later, she's already online, sitting on her bed in a provocative pose. It is a sex show, isn't it? Her voice, previously hushed, rings out in full force. How are you doing tonight, hopefuls? Hell yeah, time to fuck! I'm not punishing dirty talk on a sex show. Thank you! Tonight's show is quite special. Please welcome our new moderator, Pornos Collector. Sorry for sentencing you to death earlier. At least the community here seems to be a bit more welcoming this time. Looks like this place has an established hazing ritual. Or maybe Day and Hope came up with this one specifically for you. Who knows? Alternatively, they literally had no idea who you were, which I think that's exactly what happened. Alright, let's start this one with a bang, shall we? Oh boy, she's going to do it. So this is where the strip show starts? You raise your head, curious about what kind of performance she's going for. First, she opens her mouth and reveals her retractable fangs in front of the camera. Right off the bat, the online audience is treated to a sight of her wholly human set of teeth turning into monster smell. The image is both revolting and fascinating. She raises her left wrist for everyone to see and then bites. Oh! Fangs immediately turn her arm into a horrifying gory mess. It's unclear if she used them to slash or bite, but one thing is sure, no ordinary human can cause such damage. Yeah, she did say that the chance of Masquerade violation is high. So, retractable fangs? She's got retractable fangs? That's a thing in this world? World of Darkness ever discuss different fang types and how you land with them? I mean, the woman on the cover for this game, like on main menu, she has the fangs in all the wrong places and they're long at all times. And then again, she's holding a bitten apple, which she can't do. But let's not get into... What decides where you sprout extra teeth? And whether they're retractable. How do you retract teeth? I've got so many questions. Yep, you can't. Yes, you retract them very carefully. Yep, you apparently you can't just gush blood as a vampire because you're a corpse. She's cannibalizing herself. I don't know how I feel about this. She looks like a hyena, the text tells me. And then she mends it. There's an appetizer, first blood, to kick off the show. How's that for an opening? You're shooting snuff! Come on, just because it's transgressive violence doesn't mean it's snuff. Besides, if I was shooting snuff, I wouldn't mend the wound. You expected a strip show? Yeah, sorry to disappoint. This is more like live stream digital art. Erotic subtext is there, of course. Oh. Nothing more rousing than a beautiful woman teetering on the edge of oblivion. But eroticism is not the key here, it's vampirism. It's a new frontier, a living art installation. In the early 90s, the Japanese artists kept producing these videotapes with beautiful women committing gory harakiri. Those are an inspiration. And I have no interest in auto-destruction or turning myself into a victim. This is a celebration of the body I love, not self-inflicted punishment. Yeah, except you like tearing your own chunks of flesh and then healing it back up. What do you call that? The audience came here to marvel at the beautiful vampire and her awe-inspiring powers. People watching can pay to see more. Don't worry, the only things that the audience can see and hear are the things I allow them to. We can talk freely. Just remember to moderate the chat, will you? How does that work? Yep, she is just preaching it. Okay, somebody's so hot that he's just rolling all over the keyboard right now. Nothing looks suspicious, honestly. And yep, she's getting a lot of money for this. And now she's drinking blood on camera. Don't worry, it pays well enough. So what do you know about the kindred and the internet? Have they told you anything? Is there vampire internet? If you find something that looks like vampire internet, stay away. Come on, we had ShrekNet before that collapsed, apparently. See, some of us used to experiment with our own secure networks. We tried to build our own information hubs, social networks, everything. Then one day the NSA got in. Turns out elders never really got the hang of proper security practices, or their sigils they used to smear on their screens didn't exactly work as advertised. And of course all the other three-lettered intelligence agencies in the world got the intel, and a lot of them decided bloodsuckers were the perfect new enemies for our post-9/11 times. Second Inquisition came into being. Ever heard of it? A lot of our kind died just because they were too present online. Right now, the remains of our old networks serve as government honeypots. Kept alive to attract fledglings and hunt them down. Oof. I'll post a certain keyword on Twitter or Facebook, you get tagged for investigation. You fit certain patterns, you get tagged for investigation. So there's a certain thrill in becoming an online presence without attracting attention from the authorities. Hope you're still monitoring the chat. Ah, let me just check the messages. How is this? Okay, so if they're tracking private networks, right? Because bloody security got in and shit. How are they not getting where this is coming from? I'm trying to like put down together like real life situations in which this could present itself. To make an informed decision on providing information. So we're now gonna throw away all of the free-ranging web, right? This isn't a Zoom call. Anyone can break into a Zoom call. This can't be Twitch. This can't be YouTube. This can't even be Pornhub. We can't be on the clear web. We're in the dark net. In our world, the dark net is mostly used for things that mostly people just buy and sell drugs, really. Sometimes they hire assassins. There are some chat rooms, definitely. Some chat rooms... All the chat rooms that matter you can only reach with a certain IP address. Like, you can't just wander into it. And, obviously I never looked through those, but effectively, if you would be doing transaction that would require secrecy, you wouldn't even, like, put it on the dark web, you would do it inside, like, dark web that's only access through IP. But now we're looking at through the lens of they broke in into networks that were completely disconnected from the main web. TrekNet wasn't on the main web. TrekNet was its own Nosferatu installation, right? If they broke in something that was that separate from the main web, how are you doing this? That's my question. Okay. She talking to somebody, can't wait for the real thing to start. The two monitors set up rules. Call of Duty on one screen, drop dead hotness on the second screen. The only woman I don't hate. Hope! More like favorite hoe. Yeah, we're gonna ban the last person. And yep, that username suggested trouble. Good job. Anyway, yeah, when the Nosferatu admitted to Camarilla their network got compromised, the elders went batshit insane. Internet communication became strictly forbidden. There were executions. A lot of people who use social media to secretly contact their mortal families and lovers got offed. That goes without saying. And if you weren't careful, even the most innocent web usage could result in being punished with final death. Okay! She's obfuscating in front of the camera. And then she reappears in front of the camera. Well, you're like Is this what people really are for? Some girl performing magic tricks while she's browsing her social media? I have to tell you that just chatting is like an actual category, and one time this person, they were getting a lot of views for eating a watermelon in their backyard. Nothing's off table. Maybe I should just sit and just chatting from time to time. It's going, you know what, guys? Let's chat, let's chill. Let's chill, let's watch Mirta drink coffee. Well, most of them have no clue as to real nature. A lot of clandestine organizations have classified as national threats. And since this is where the towers fell, the agencies are very much present around here looking for easy PR victories. The last SI raid here was just a few years ago and was big one, stirred up the hornet's nest something fierce. But although it's 2019, NYC is ruled by someone who got embraced before World War II, and the cam as a whole got really spooked and swore off internet. Of course they're not dumb and understand that you can't really coexist with modern kind without the internet. It's grey zone right now, like piracy, technically frowned upon, but let the one without sin cast the first stone. The SI is the real threat, no joke, but in many sentences, the darkest place is right under the candle. Can you do some bad stuff? Can you show us next time? Please give me a shout out. Oh. Let's time to kick. Oh yeah, fun fact about being a vampire, we can sweat and pee if we just exert ourselves really hard. Some of us can even orgasm, we can even cry, but only tears of blood. Why would you pee yourself? Something I always dreamed of doing when I was 14, so romantic and drives them crazy. Peeing? Oh. Okay, crying blood. I hope your tortured soul finds some calm eventually. From Turtle Guy, it's like some guy is just sitting there with a Bible going, "You poor tortured girl." Okay, Fuckman is getting a boner. We're gonna ignore this. Okay, they're calling him. Yep, that's the repeat offender, apparently. Okay. Yep, we're breaching the Masquerade, alright. I honestly expected you to leave or inform somebody by now, but you haven't, have you? Yep, let's just ban him. Good job handling that guy. In any case, it's time for the great finale. This is what you've been waiting for, right? You wanted blood? Come out into the streets. Claw out your neighbors' throats. Slash their veins and drink up. Jesus. She's using Dementate through the internet. That's not good. Liberate yourself from the shackles of ordinary mortality. Make them scream. Feel the warmth of their entrails. Transcend your bodies. Release the message of hope into the world. Alright, that's enough. Yep, everybody go home. Wait a minute, does this mean... Aww. They're all vampires! Years ago, I started researching Tulpa's collective unconsciousness, all the mumbo-jumbo at the intersection of psychology and spirituality, and I decided to experiment. The show was a fake. A few years later, I was an Instagram fashionista, a successful erotic model, a vital part of pop culture commentary art, a viral shitposter, a cryptocurrency expert. All my internet selves started signal boosting each other, paving the way for new ones. I became a one-woman empire surrounded by legions of psychopaths. The chat was fake. Some may think of it as a dissociative identity disorder, but that's bullshit. Everyone has online alter egos they buried. I just resurrected them, gave birth to new ones, and let them crossbreed. She was impersonating an entire crowd. Interesting. I don't even have a self that could disassociate or be mentally ill. I'm a host, a living database. I live because I find it fun to be an information conduit, to process trends and support the ones I deem worthy. Ah. She was showing off her skills. She's really good at this. Of course you can't just ignore what I'm saying and decide I'm just another deranged Malkavian, but hey, annihilation of the self is the only way to survive in the 21st century. If there's even was an era that demanded images of beautiful people transcending beyond humanity and inspiring others to do the same, it is this one. Although for now, because of Masquerade, my audience is quite limited. Speaking of, you want to star in my next movie? You know what? Sure, why the hell not? It's just you. It's just you. I have a hunch you'll be saying that. Still, hey, in a way, this too is transcending beyond self. But yeah, your test is over. Now question, do I want to work with you? Guess I can give it a shot. Yeah, you're not that dumb, you're not that boring, and you're kinda cute. Don't worry, no more modding jobs. Mods get attached, and that's always bad news. I put you through enough shit. Next time I'll let you in a little job I'm doing. We'll hit the streets and you'll see why Sophie told you to contact me. An unconscious diagram of psychic event. The city is so much more than what its elites consider real. Stick with me and I'll guide you to places Camarilla elders couldn't reach in 100 years. Even if someone else rules the streets, we will rule the information highways. This is the power of hope. Okay! Yep. We're still hungry because we're stupid and we never feed. We go from place to place and we don't feed. Like, we literally just walked home and we didn't fucking feed. I don't get us. I really don't. I've seen people trying to disassociate with being anything on purpose, honestly. There's some very interesting spiritual paths that you can take. That includes getting rid of self. And being unable to recognize anyone else's self, so... someone having multiple personalities, but only expressing them through an online Twitter interaction kind of sort of thing with a fake chat room where she is all of the chatbots is funnily enough not the weirdest thing that I have seen. And that's accounting that this game is fiction and that what I'm talking about is the reality of some very specific people that are very dedicated to very specific spiritual beliefs. So, yeah. Real world's weird. Ah, but there's the sheriff of New York City knocking at our haven. And he's being polite about it. Patiently and politely waiting for you to let him in. Evening, may I come in? Simply stare at him. Your lack of an answer doesn't faze him, and your lack of resistance as he starts walking inside has obviously been interpreted as permission. Once inside, he starts looking around as cautiously stay by the door. Haven't really had time to make this place your own yet, have you? It feels like Langley's apartment through and through. Secluded study where nobody studies anything. Look at the books on the shelf, obviously meant to press guests not to be read. They reveal nothing about their owner aside from the aching desire to be taken seriously as an intellectual. The phenomenology of spirit next to all of this garbage poetry. We can make a bet. If she read more than 20 pages, I owe you $50 and a gallon of blood. The kind of place that self-professed hermits entombed themselves in to suffer. Considering how much you have to run around these nights, you probably only use it to shelter from the sun's rest, right? Even though he's obviously making an effort to come off as non-threatening, it's impossible to forget the first impression that he made. You still see him as a fierce predator trying hard not to expose his true colors. You sense a familiar fight-or-flight response as you struggle to find a diplomatic answer to his last question. If Coteries is bothered by your silence, he doesn't let it show. He keeps walking around, toying with whatever catches his eye. Eventually, he speaks up again. He goes, you didn't make this place your own. Nobody gave us any money. I can stock the bookcase with my own books, but I couldn't do that if I had no access to my own books or money. Just a thought. Watch any baseball lately? If I had to guess, you strike me as a Red Sox fan. Now he's inviting you to talk in a more direct manner. You attempt to overcome your physical reaction to him and reply as casually as you can. ... Your mind, you're just having PTSD. Yep, PTSD. As you look into his face, you realize he's read the emotions from yours. Not in the mood to exchange pleasantries. Let me get straight to the point then. You see, there's something I realized over the years. In large part, I may have been hired just to look menacing with a sword, but my job is all about seeing through bonds and relationships. The Camarilla would be safe as long as its members adhered to certain social contracts, making their dealings and affinities plain for everyone to see, but that obviously remains a pipe dream. This is a community of born conspirators, overly ambitious gangsters and politicians, monsters in denial, and all sorts of tragically broken individuals. They are driven by desires that make them incompatible with the Masquerade, incompatible with prolonged survival of the Camarilla, incompatible with the methods I used to operate. And so I am doomed to be like a cop, constantly insulted behind my back, maybe for good reason, but immediately called for help whenever somebody loses their tableware. Ah, tableware! Like an Agatha Christie protagonist, outwardly assisted by everyone but constantly lied to about everyone's pasts and motivations, even if my failure to solve the mystery might be the end of us all. So you see, for this detective, the why done it is far more important than who done it or how done it. When you understand all the players and their mutual obligations, you easily understand every crime. But of course the kindred know it, just so they devise ways to make my job much harder, just like conspiracies between two unrelated actors that depend on scratching each other's backs for mutual security. Or they enforce a blood bond to make someone unexpected their thrall, a boss serving their employee, a rebel serving a tyrant just because one is regularly being forced to drink another's blood. What has Sophie seen in you? Why does the prince keep asking me about your actions? How come you're being pushed to build your own coterie so fast? You're surrounded by unclear motivations which you yourself don't understand. This unnerves me, and it should unnerve you as well. You unnerve me! You made one hell of a first impression. So you haven't gone mute since the last time I saw you, good. Well, I'm here for a selfish reason. I need to develop a rapport with you to better fulfill my obligations. The last time we met, I couldn't see you as my equal. Now that you've been accepted into Camarilla, what choice do I have? I would understand if you didn't want to see my face again, but I'm one of the faces of the New York community, and as long as you're part of it, I'm going to be impossible to avoid me. Especially when I have business with you, and I do, as you might have guessed by now, one of my tasks is uncovering and unnerving your bonds, and one of them might endanger our community. Who's Kaiser? Yeah, I know, right? No idea. Agathon? Sophie? I met Hope last night. Sophie? Sophie's fine. She's plotting something big. I know it, and she knows it. I know it, but she's treading carefully as she should. No, they're not a major player. This is our troublemaker. Oh. Oh. The asshole who made the last few years of your life a living hell. Sexual harassment, mobbing, the way he kept delegating all his obligations to you without ever letting you reap the fruits of your labor, the way he stole your soul. I'm gonna say that this is your former boss. I'm also now gonna say that you always had the decision to leave your friggin' work. You weren't trapped there by a blood bond. You weren't a ghoul. I don't know what's wrong with you. I left my hellish employment like a year of uncertainty before I found new employment that is considerably worse, but is better for me physically. So I'll take it. I'll take it, and I'll find other self-expression venues that don't include climbing the corporate ladder that never suited me to begin with. He didn't steal your soul. This isn't Satan. You haven't summoned Lucifer. That being said, demons don't steal your souls either. They don't actually ask for that, but that's a conversation for a whole different matter. Yeah, I'm having issues with this. Oh, damn prick. Apparently your company is in trouble. Lots of financial irregularities, and Mr. Newman is all too happy to testify that one employee who's just suddenly disappeared is to blame. The story is as fishy as it gets, but your disappearance is being investigated and a lot of people are searching for you. It attracts attention to us, and as such, it must be stopped. Must be stopped sounds threatening. Yep. I'll arrange for you two to meet tomorrow so that you can straighten the situation out and say goodbye to the life you've forsaken. Usually these matters are left to my discretion, and I can't think of an easier solution. A lost sheep reappears, takes care of unfinished business, and disappears, never to be seen again, and nobody cares. Simple, it's clean, no contrived schemes, no unnecessary victims, and it gives me an opportunity to learn more about you as I observe. When neonates interact with kind they used to hold dear, their true natures are laid bare for everyone to see. Of course, he's invested in being kind to you, or he's making clear his self-serving intentions so that you don't start figuring them out yourself. Any objections? Any alternatives are probably worse, so you shake your head. Very well, I'll arrange a meeting and drive you there tomorrow. Better come up with a load of bull that's easy to swallow. God damn it, you need to think it through. And we're hungry. We're hungry again. We spent like half of our freaking evening sitting in that place. Just thinking about what to do. Oh god, brain. Come on, brain. We can do this. Yeah. Instead of going out and feeding. It's like the third night straight now that we can't feed. Because there's no freaking feed button on the screen where I can... You can go for somebody's watching me quest. Which makes you wander around in the streets for hours. Potentially finding who is watching you. But you refuse to take half a night, even once, to go out to a random location with the specific purpose to hunt. Something that you should probably be doing daily. What's wrong with us? Answering cautiously, you hear an older male voice. Well, I mean, yeah, they based Vampire the Masquerade for the most part is based off like different American cities. I believe it's because the friggin' people that made it are in America. I know that they wrote some European stuff, but I would really like for them to write more European stuff. Or any other continent, preferably outside of America. You know, I've been thinking, if I needed to make my own astral purgatory, what I would do is I would make a Soviet Union time built city block. And that can serve as a purgatory on its own. I don't know what really unnerves me about it. Maybe it's because I grew up in it, but it's so soulless and repetitive and badly built and looks like a sore thumb and looks really great and fucking awful. I would kind of like to see people make campaigns in such settings. I would love to see a campaign set in Sleeper Town in Russia. It's like a nice little sleeper neighborhood where nothing happens. It would probably be Tizmitsi around because they're apparently ruling majority of Eastern Europe. Hello, I'm calling because a friend asked me to come by and offer you my services. You look really sweaty and you look alive and tasty and I haven't eaten for a very long time. Who's this friend? Better not talk about that on the intercom. Secrets are secrets. You may have the wrong address. No, wait. I know you're one of them. Please, it's alright. I don't mind. You can drink with me, if you understand what I mean. Oh. Offering you to feed on him. Okay, let's continue this face-to-face. I am literally fucking starving right now. You know what? I will take a man that I never saw. That's a wonderful idea. He looks sheepishly. He's in his 30s, dressed in a clean business suit. He looks moderately successful, someone you could meet at an investment bank. I'm sorry, I didn't want to intrude, so that's why I called from downstairs. Why can't I feed on him and then make him forget all of this and go? Fuck it, come in. You know what, come in, I was really hungry. You have no idea how hungry I am. He loosens the collar on his shirt, closes his eyes and bare his neck in quivering excitement. Look at the man, taken aback by such forwardness. Fighting that you didn't invite the man here for a chat, you lean in closer, take him by the shoulders and sink your fangs into him. This is not an unpleasant way to feed. You reflect as the blood flows into your mouth. The food comes to your door of its own volition. The man moans as you drink from him, lost in the ecstasy of the kiss. It feels a little unseemly, but it would be churlish to begrudge him his pleasures. You care not to drink too much, you let go of the man after licking his wounds close. Hopefully I can, like, stop having blood all over my eyes right now. Once again, if you're making a video game, I prefer an actual UI element somewhere around here. Like, for example, right here, there's, like, ample space. That gives me very nice and clear indication of what level of hunger I'm in. Apparently it's level 5 where you completely lose your all self-control and respect according to the tabletop rules. You can do that. You could do that like right there in the nice UI element. That wouldn't require bloodying up my screen or making me guess what kind of hunger level I'm on. Suddenly you're startled by a surprising sight. A woman not very old, strangely dressed, is looking at you intently only an arm's length away. Before you can react, the mysterious woman opens your front door and vanishes from sight, leaving you to wonder whether you really saw her at all. Hopefully! Astral Eastern Bloc Purgatory. I mean, if you're gonna construct a purgatory, right, you gotta do it right. It can't be terror-based. Terror and fear are fleeting emotions that you can't inflict for long-term. You have to inflict something far more sinister. Easy emotions to inflict are exactly stress, anxiety. For example, long-term debt would be a purgatory of its own thing. I'm pretty sure that majority of us are in such debt and are so afraid of said debt, with being in zero savings and all, that you end up having anxiety attacks and dreams of your debt inside your sleep. That's how badly people are affected by debt. Thankfully, I have none right now. But that's an unpleasant emotion that would work as a purgatory. You can also take places that would just feel really unpleasant and you can't put your finger on as to why. In my case, that would be an Eastern European bloc. Yep. Yep. You wouldn't use horror to terrify people. You wouldn't actually use like a dead woman with like her head turned around or something with many eyes. These things wear off. Inflict actual full-on existential dread inside of people and that shit stays. And it stays with you, and if you needed to put somebody through hell after they died, that's the way to do it. As a stare confused, the man you drank from slips out of your haven and into the hallway, staggering a little from the effects of the kiss. Yes! Yes! Dread, panic, stress. You know what dream I had? I got so used to this job not really having off days, or I'm not getting paid whenever I have an off day, that we did get holidays. We do get national holidays. National holidays this time were Christmas, and I'm gonna have New Year's as well. But my mind is so ingrained that you have 2 days off and then you work, that I was having an anxiety attack inside one of my dreams about not having an alarm set in the morning and not going to work, despite the fact that it's Saturday. It's so ingrained into me that I wake up and I work for 5 days. Or I take a day off and I don't get paid about it. That, because I have national holidays, I was having a nightmare about it. Human psyche. You close your door wondering what that was all about. At least you got to feed, if nothing else. Yeah! See? I am learning how to write horror! New Age books all about the existential dread and not about the actual scary monsters. Actually, that's something that my husband said. Imagine, yeah, imagine you wake up and there's a ghost. Yeah, I'm pioneering the horror genre right now in the middle of the stream. You might get shocked. You might get scared initially, but your reaction eventually would be like, cool. If thing is weird enough, yeah, we might not even get our protections, like our mechanism for survival up, because we're so used to living in the mundane, and we're so interested in like this whole fiction thing that it would completely override it. You would get startled for a bit, and then you would be kind of cool going, oh yeah, that's just my upstairs lady ghost, you know, she's just there, it's fantastic. But now imagine that a devil appears and goes, I am racking up debt on your credit card. And I swear, everybody would lose their shit going, no, please don't do that. And you can't call your bank to cancel it. No! I don't want bankruptcy! Our horror is like completely different. Don't scratch, kitty. Don't scratch. You're making my table shake. Hey. I actually fed tonight, which is bloody amazing. That was a good choice. Knock knock! You would ask who's there, but you don't know if the sheriff of New York City would play along. When you open the door, you see him toying with the car keys he's holding in hand. Ready to go, fledgling? You don't feel like it, but you give him a nod nevertheless. Excellent! Stay close. He leads you down to the vehicle he's parked nearby. Once again, he takes the wheel literally and figuratively. You know, this is another weird thing. He called us a neonate and a fledgling at the same time. Nobody determines how long does one stay a fledgling, but normally one is a fledgling until they can sorta grasp the whole society thing sorta on their own, and then they're a cat, please stop scratching yourself or get off of my computer, please. But they're, yeah, until they can sorta navigate the society of their own, and the other cat, please stop scratching yourself or get off my computer, please. I literally have two cats on both sides right here that I'm trying to control right now. But, yeah, so can we navigate the society on our own, or can't we? We're one or the other. We're either a neonate or a fledgling. Yeah, hi. Yeah, meow. Goodbye, kitty. We can't be both. Yep, everything inside is just the way you remember it, down to the rearward view mirror reflecting the intense stare of your guide. Because no matter how many cars we're in, and I'm not convinced that it's not the same car, that everybody's not just like driving the exact same car, no matter how many cars we're in, people's gaze is being reflected despite it being physically impossible. Guys, here, we're apparently sitting on the middle seat in the back seat. That's the only way you can get this view. So, I don't know, the middle seat isn't comfortable. It normally has a doohickey that you can, like, put it down to have, like, drinks and shit. I don't know why we're sitting there. But from the perspective where we're sitting, and because the rear view mirror is not angled, the only thing it should ever be reflecting is your own reflection. I'm explaining mirrors for like the 500th time here. However, the trip itself feels notably different. Yep, the last time Coteries drove you around, he was forcibly dragging you away from your old life. This time he's pulling you back into it. Goddamn Newman! Getting violent just thinking about him. Let me tell you how it's gonna go. As I said, I arranged a meeting between you and your kin. It's going to take place somewhere you should know very well. I'll watch over you two from a safe distance to make sure you adhere to the rules. You should know those very well, but I'll reiterate just so that you can't ever say I didn't warn you. Don't do anything that would violate the Masquerade, like ripping his throat out in public. Don't establish some secret routes of contact, I will know. Do treat it as the last time you two will meet. Take this chance to wrap everything up. The Masquerade is like their code for hiding the fact that vampires exist in this thing. So it has nothing to do with the mirror. Vampires do have reflections unless it's the clan with La Sombra. La Sombra's reflections, including their photos, come out as garbled mess. So between garbled mess and not existing at all, depending how powerful they are, and it's something to do with them being halfway out of their plane of existence or some shit like that. Here's your story. You're fine. Found yourself at crossroads, decided to radically change your life and move out of the city. The subway is unbearable, the rent is too high. They have heard it all. However, you do not appreciate being accused of a crime you didn't commit, so you're back both to clear your name and strike fear into the heart of the real culprit. By now, you should know how to cause fear among the living, right? Have fun. As long as you don't leave a mess for me to clean up, we should be good. I'll leave the finer details to you. Just be kind and don't make me regret it. You can sense he's going out of his way for you, but doesn't really try to force you into gratitude by stating it plainly. If you know, you know. He'll see it if you're worthy of his aid. We're here. You take a look around and recognize your destination. You see, what I don't... Another thing, yeah. People just kind of poofed, disappearing. It's probably the worst way to do it, especially if you're gonna keep them in the same city that they died in. Camarilla are fucking retards, okay? Let's say I became undead tomorrow. Let's say that there isn't a vampire society. The best thing that I could do to keep my cover is to pull some bullshit lie to my company as to why I can't work during daytime because I am super sick or something, or quit my job. I could continue streaming video games because nobody could tell the difference. Worst case scenario, I can darken my skin tone by like 1 shade using makeup. It's not that big of a deal. I have a ring light over here. I can regulate it and set it for whatever lighting that I want. I normally have it on very bright because otherwise the lamp from above makes me look yellow. But I am gonna be fixing that in my new apartment. It's not the most nicest thing because it gives me eye circles that are normally not there if I look into the mirror. But I can control my lighting, right? So if I died tomorrow, the best thing that I could do to uphold secrecy, if there's no society, is to actually proceed as normal and then try and disappear off the face of the earth very gently by passing my own money to myself. And just kind of move on and do something else in like 10 to 20 years when I can't pretend that, you know, I am just not aging, and or else it would be very unconvincing. Well, Jade, we're discussing a scenario where there's like no masquerade, right? Where rather there's no like established vampire society. Like, you just find yourself undead. Maybe you had a heart attack, maybe you had a deal with the devil, you wake up and you're dead, right? Well, just, yeah, do streaming. Do YouTube. I mean, worst case scenario, digital effects exist. And you can one day go, hey bros, I have very cool teeth that I just installed, right? I went to the dentist and I got here because I'm all for this kind of aesthetic, right? That's like one of the best things that you can do, and then just disappear very gently. 10 or 20 years later, when you can't pretend, when the fact that you're not aging becomes a bit more apparent. And then you just pass your money off, and you do little businesses here and there. Maybe you run a fish shop, I don't know. You find something to do, because there's always something to do. The second thing, if you want to go the disappearing route, okay, you died in that city. Where will people search for you? Where you disappeared. Where will there be the most shit raised about you? Where you disappeared. So if you just needed to drop out of your life, you would do the same thing that people do while dropping out of their life in real life. You move. Very far away. Preferably. Very, very far away, preferably. Preferably under aliases so that nobody can track your train ticket or your airline ticket or your ship or anything. Even in songs, people go, oh, I know that the tie-in flight was all that you could find. Because that is how people disappear. And then we have this vampire society of smartasses that go, you died like 2 streets from where you used to live and work. You gotta continue living and working here. Except for us. No, we don't allow you to contact anybody or like explain the situation. Like, I know that there are a lot of people around me that would lose their shit and definitely call in a search for me. And some of these people are in whole different countries. So even if an organization existed and the whole point was to make me disappear, right? And they were like, okay, we're gonna slaughter your closest relatives. Well, first of all, that raises more questions. But secondly, majority of the other people that would seek me out outside of my husband's family are out of the country. I have friends in Poland. I have friends in America. I have people that would notice me going missing. My whole family would notice me going missing, and they're all the way in Lithuania. And where did I go missing? Somewhere in England where I lived. Probably. So would they call in a search? They would definitely call in a search. There would be policemen. Even if the policemen would be corrupt and called off, my own family would come over to search for me. Because, so how, dear Camarilla, how do you make people disappear? You move them. At the very least. Don't necessarily need to move the country, but if I disappeared and I started operating in the way of, in the middle of Scotland, that would be a lot harder to find than if I disappeared and continued operating where I am right now. Why is this a thing? Why is this a thing? It's the office in which you wasted the best years of your life. How old are you? Newman should be up there. Apparently someone is blackmailing him with documents providing his pension for embezzlement. The poor guy is stuck in his office and he's probably pretty shaken up. The documents don't exist, but it would be a shame if somebody went there, wiped the floor with the man found proof that he pilfered the funds and forced him to admit his crimes. Yep, my Xbox Yes, my Xbox is sitting in the office. Hooray, some video game time. Just like Quadir said. Oh, that's another thing about World of Darkness. Apparently, yes. Just take that Xbox home. Apparently, majority of people that get embraced in World of Darkness get embraced in their early 20s. It's to a point where in lore, Beckett is described as looking as late 20s to late 30s. Nobody can say which age he is, but that makes him at least a decade older than majority of all kindred. Now, our society has something really against aging that I don't entirely understand. It's to a point where people feel like after the age of 21, their life is over. People think that majority of streamers and majority of singers and blah 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 blah, that they're all really young people. A lot of people continue doing what they enjoy past the age of 20. They enter their 30s, they enter their 40s, they still do what they enjoy. A lot of people receive different levels of attractiveness as time proceeds. Some people look better in their 30s than they did in their 20s. I would say that a lot of guys in their early 20s still look kind of scrawny, while they might look really gentlemanly at the age of 50. A lot of people don't know what they want to do in their early 20s. I suppose it explains a lot of stupidity of their society if they keep on embracing people in their early 20s. Like, And then our character comes out, which is why I went on the whole rant and went, oh, I wasted my better years of my life in this office. And it's like, how old are you? Because majority of the embraces are freaking young. Yeah, I know, right? Look, if you're gonna be creating a society of vampires, 50's fine. Most people still look just fine at 50. 60's fine. Not a lot of people have mental degradation at 60, so there's a lot of nuance there. There's a lot of, like, human experience that you can gain through time. And you can look age appropriate, and you can look awesome and amazing, and you can still have hobbies, and you can still proceed living. Your life does not end at the age of 21. Why the heck are you collecting people that are barely out of high school to be immortals? They have no self-agency at all, practically, because they haven't tasted life. Yeah, I'm 26, but I get anywhere between 16 and 45, and I am gonna assume that at the age of 37, I will continue getting anywhere between 16 and 45, because human age is ambiguous. He looks, how can you put it, as if he just googled body language of alpha males and attempted to poorly copy the most cartoonish posture in order to intimidate the blackmailer. Out of habit, you take a deep breath as you step inside the office. Corp! He immediately relaxes. It's just Corp, his eyes say, a sly grin appears beneath them. Forget to ask for a vacation? People were worried, you know, not to mention overworked to hell and back, then overworked some more. Somebody had to take over your responsibilities, and guess what? Just as we started digging into your work, some unexpected financial irregularities started popping up. We'll need to work on a common story to explain these, you see? Yeah, it's just Corp. It's just Corp. But, you know, I wouldn't even be surprised by his story, considering that one thing that we remembered upon dying was fucking HR. Which is just not a thing that you should be doing in any properly ran office. You keep quiet and just stare him down. The poor idiot still thinks he's the predator in the room. Let's see how long it takes for him to realize this. Are you gonna just flash your fangs, Missy, and just like go for his throat? Because if you're not, then shut up. Newman senses that you're different somehow. He attempts to stare back, but fails to withstand your glare. He starts to wonder what's going on and quickly arrives at a conclusion. Wait a second, so you're the one who sent me that message? Now that is a laugh. Another thing, right? A lot of how other people will perceive you is a lot of how you're gonna hold yourself in front of all other people. And the whole thing about magic and demons and shit is that a lot of it is just putting yourself in the right headspace to appear to be more of what you wish you were, by convincing yourself that you can be just that, to appear more charismatic, to appear more in control. If you carry yourself with unmistakable charisma and stare people down into their eyes, a lot of people will back down. You just have to pretend that you're the predator of the room. So, yeah, you can do that without being a vampire. You can have a pretty good stare. Sweetheart, if I'm going down, you're going down with me. You think you could convince anyone that you never knew what's going on around here? Fat chance! And even if you did, you know my friends, they never let you live it down. He's right in front of you, licking his lips, pondering the best way to display his complete physical superiority. You won't give him the chance. Use him like a punching bag. Throw him outside the building. We're Ventrue through and through. We're gonna just spam the shit out of our abilities. Scare the shit out of him. Before Newman blinks, you're standing in front of him with your arms crossed. After he blinks, your hand is already on his throat. He freezes up. He watches you get in his face and slowly brandish your long, long fangs. A loud, throaty, inhuman growl rings out throughout the office and begins to morph into a violent kiss. For a moment, your boss can't identify the source of the overwhelming sound, or rather his brain refuses to accept that your relatively small body is capable of generating a noise like this. As he begins to understand and process the unnatural sight of your fangs, he's gradually overpowered by the animalistic fear that shatters his entire worldview. No romance is involved, but a lot of visual novels are romantic novels, so you were supposed to be a victim. Why are you a threat? Why did reality break? I am sorry, but that is exactly what I ask when I place objects on the table in a way that they should fall off and they don't. You just go, why did reality break? I smell purple. You slowly tighten your grip on his neck. Not hard enough to trigger a fight response, but enough to strike deeper fear into his heart. Kneel! Newman complies with your demands, squealing softly, a single tear making its way down the stubble on his cheek. The fuck? Obey! I'll do whatever you want, just don't kill me, please. You gather your strength and throw him, slamming him against his desk. That's very unventrue of us. We could literally dominating this... Yeah. We could have literally dominated this man out of the problem. You know that nice ability, Dominate, that makes people, like, completely comply with you and you can issue single commands with it. Okay, issue one command. Tomorrow you're gonna contact the press and say that all the bad shit is your doing. It's not ours, his. That you did all of this and you tried to pawn it off on your poor employee, which had fled town in order to not get in trouble with the police. It's all you're doing, and you terrorized the poor woman until she left, and she left the country. That's a good sentence. It beats whatever brouhaha shit we're doing in here. Fuck. A born boardroom predator has met his better in the place he least expected it. You slowly start walking toward him. Stop. I'll get it. I'll do it. I'll fucking do it. Shaking hands, he scrambles towards a safe on his shelf. He opens it and takes out some documents inside. This is what you want, right? This is what you want. He ripped the papers from his hands and brushed them. It should be enough to, as Squadier would put it, prove his penchant for embezzlement. I'll clear your fucking name. Tell them somebody else. You twist your heel in his hand. He screams. Okay. So, hold by throat. Throw. Right? Yeah, I know, right? So we held him by the throat. We squeezed his throat. We threw him. We threw him, I think, on the desk. I think. He went to the safe. He picked up the documents. He gave us the documents. So I'm assuming he's in an upright position. His hands are not on the floor. He's handing us the document. Maybe he's handing it as the document from a kneeling position? How are we doing this? Do we like raise... This is gonna be awkward. Are we like raising a foot up? And placing it, yeah, on his other hand in the air. Nanomachines, son. Nanomachines. I did it. I'll tell them I did it. Next time, I'll bite into your throat. He mumbles something under his breath and winces in pain. Walking off the pitch with no regrets, said everything you had to say. I wiped the floor with him and got the documents that should keep him in check. The asshole will be looking over his shoulder constantly for the rest of his life. I know that I just kind of crushed your spine and like slammed you into a desk and everything, but next time I'll bite you. Kadir smiles deviously. Looks like you can take care of business as expected. I don't need to tell you to hang on to those documents, but keep in mind that you can use them for more than security guarantee. We're always looking for more contacts among the big fish. Once you settle in, you can use what you know of Newman to convince the elders that he's better off as your ghoul. Now that's an enticing thought. You're surprised at this suggestion. Car speeds up to cross an intersection before the light turns red. You give Kadir a good hard look. I didn't actually know that I needed elders' permission to take ghouls. No place have ever stated before that I need elders' permission to take ghouls. Maybe it's just that New York is a very controlling city, I don't know. Yeah, I never heard of that rule either. It's just... what? In New York, do you actually... what? I suppose it's this visual novel thing, because I don't think that ghouls ever had to be approved. Well, I'll just say thank you. Doesn't feel like a, how do you call it, a very vampire thing to say, but you say it nevertheless. He's visibly taken aback and his usually furrowed brow smooths out for a moment. Then it takes on a serious, slightly sorrowful expression. Don't suck up to me, kid. Mr. Bad Guy is still here, and without a doubt, he will go back to decapitating suckers like you anytime now. Oh. I want to give Mr. Kadir here a hug. He really needs to. He really needs one. I mean, I think all of them would be better off. Yeah, I know. All of them would be better off if either A, vampire psychologists were a thing, or B, they worked as two people for every single job. Just so that they can keep their psyches in check. Just like, double up on vampires. Set two people up in the same room, in the same place, and go, we don't really care what kind of relationship you're gonna develop. If you're lovers, then lovers, friends, then friends, associates, then associates, but you're gonna be roommates for the rest of eternity. And you both are gonna be doing the exact same job. Because that way, when one of them starts having such existential dread that they react with, I still decapitate people for a living, you know, to hearing a thanks, the other one could be like, you're internalizing our job a little bit too much, mate. Do you want to take the next night off while I go and do all the meetings? Do you just want to couch potato for a while? We can couch potato and Netflix together tonight. Okay, just watch a nice Christmas movie. Take your mind off things, because I think that you need a break, buddy. Maybe that is the issue. The issue is that they don't take breaks and they don't have holidays. Maybe the issue is that they need a structure where they can. We're here. You look out the window and you see your haven. Take care. I'll see you around. Just pray I don't have to see you too often. You leave the car and start walking to your haven, thinking about Coteries. Can't say you're fond of him, what with the welcome he gave you and all, but after tonight, you can't say you aren't either. You're gonna need some more time to understand him, that's for sure. Yep. He's just a sad cookie on the inside, like all of them are. But anyways, thank you all for joining for this wonderful night tonight. I will likely still be doing this game tomorrow. I kind of want to finish it, honestly. But I will not be doing it at 3 AM tomorrow, for I do have work on Monday. So, thank you all for dropping by. Gonna be done with the visual novel at some point, and at that point we're gonna come back to Cyberpunk probably. This is actually giving me peace of mind and the rest that I really needed, so this is quite enjoyable by now. So, thank you all for being here, and see you the next time. Toodaloo.